Using SetInterval method, we can repeat actions like counting, but more importantly, we can control it using clear interval method, allowing us to start and stop processes just like real applications. If you look at the example on my screen, you can see that it has two buttons, one for start counter and the other for stop counter. Now, what the buttons do is that they start counting every second when you click start, and it will stop when you click stop. So let's try it out and see how the two buttons work. So I will go ahead and click on the start counter button. I can see that immediately it starts counting, and when I click on stop, then it will stop. And immediately I click on stop, it will stop. If I click on start counter again, it should resume and continue counting. So let's go ahead and build this counter together. We built the counter in 6 easy steps. Step 1, we need to create variables that will store the interval ID and keep track of numbers. Step 2, we need to create buttons that will be used for controlling the start and the stop actions. Step 3, we need to add an event listener for when a user clicks a button. Then we will make the counter method runs every second. Next step, we need to add a method that will make the action stop when a user clicks on the stop button. And finally, we need a counter function that will increase count and update the screen. So let's go ahead and see how we can use the SetInterval method alongside clear interval method in order to control timing events in JavaScript. So here's my boilerplate code, and here I have a few comments. The first comment in the HTML section and another two in the script section. So the first comment is add two buttons with ID of start and stop. So I'll go ahead and make two buttons. The first one is going to have an ID of start. And text of start counter. So this is the button, the first button. And the second one is going to have an ID of stop counter. Now, this place says add a p tag with ID of counter and value of 0. So we are going to make another element p, ID of counter and value of counter and value of 0 as the starting point for counting. Now that we have this, then we move into script section in order to set up the method that will make these two buttons interactive. So what is the first thing to do in the script stack? Well, we need two variables. The first one is, let's name it my interval. And don't let's give it a value yet. Then let's make another one. I call it count and give it a value of 0, since this is where the counting is going to start from. Now that we have this, let me select the buttons that are needed. I need the ID of those buttons. So the first button is the button starts, and the second one is button stop. So now I've selected the ID of the both buttons here that I have in my code. Now that I have this, so let me go ahead and make the button start listening for a click according to the comments that we have here. So if I want this to listen for a click, then I need the button name and attach an event listener to it, which will watch out for two things. Number one is a click event, and once that click is detected, then it will run a function. So it will run a function. And what is that function going to be? So the function is just going to set interval. And how is it going to set it? So it will look at the counter and give it a 1000 milliseconds, which is equivalent to 1 second. So a function call will be done inside here, as you can see, which is going to be what is going to be called. Oh, sorry. Yes, I missed something. I need to assign this to what I have here as my variable. We haven't given it any value. So let's save this. Let's store this counter, this set interval method inside this variable that we have here. Now that I have this set up, then I can go ahead and make a function for when a stop counter button is clicked. So I come down here, and the same way I did for the first one, so I'll do it for the stop as well. So I will attach an event listener to it, and this will look for click and a function to run. So clear interval. So anytime the stop counter is clicked, then it will clear this value of whatever I have in the counting, and it will stop it. So that is what I'm doing here. So this is another method, a clear interval. Don't forget, we are using set interval alongside with clear interval method. So the clear interval is like when you clear something off, so it will automatically stop it. Now that we have this, then I can now come down here and make a function for counter itself. So inside it, anytime the start counter is clicked, I need a way to increment the value. So plus. So this will always increment it by 1. So if it starts from 0, the next number is going to be 1, the next one is going to be 2, and so on and so forth. So once I have this, then I can select the ID of the element that I want to increase. So I already have counter, which is what I have inside this paragraph. So let me just get the element and use the inner HTML in order to modify or manipulate it. This is to update the content on the page. So if I go ahead with what I have here, I'm going to click on the start counter button. And right now, nothing is actually, I started counting. Sorry, that was a glitch from my browser. And if I click on stop counter, then it should stop. You can see it has stopped. If I click back on start counter, then it should continue the counting. So you can see now that the set interval alongside with clear interval method can be used to control timing events in JavaScript as well. So the set interval method, which is what we have here, is what runs the functions repeatedly. So this is what runs the function after every 1 second. And then the clear interval is what stops the repeating function that we have here. Now, my interval, which is holding the set interval counter, is what is used to control the interval. So this is what we are using in order to stop the interval. Then the count plus is what stores changing data as the number is changing from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 and so on and so forth. And the inner.html here is what is updating what the users can see on the screen. Now, if you click start counter multiple times, it can create multiple interval, and that can make the counter to speed up unexpectedly. So you need to be very careful when you are working with the set interval and clear interval method. So here are some few key takeaways. Number 1, you can start and stop repeating actions. Now, set interval plus clear interval method work together. So this is the mechanism behind how counters, timers, and stopwatches work.